So Mr. Manning says, attack and destroy. They went at Pat Bishop. They accused the media of bribery. They declare war on the construction sector. They denigrate the artistic community. And as Gypsy said earlier, and you know, they have the gall, or they have the shame, or the brass face, as we say, to call shame on the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And that is the arrogance we see in this government. I spoke to you about the Bacalan deal. And it's against the background of these and so many other issues. That is why I have filed on your behalf. I have expressed the will of the people by filing in the Parliament a motion of no confidence in the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. I have just raised 2 or 3 matters that occurred within the last week. You know many more. We could spend all night and all week. The list gets longer and longer, and the pain and the suffering of our people grows with each day. And that is why we will go to the Parliament, because he has lost all credibility. He has shown that he is unable to govern this country fairly and justly. People have lost faith in him. And do you know, in any other part of the world, what would have happened with a Prime Minister like that? Prime Minister would have resigned. And that is why what we must do, we must vote them out. We have to vote them out. How much more will we take under the Manning regime? How many more must die? How many more must sleep on the floors in the hospital? How many more children must go to sleep on hungry bellies because parents can't afford to buy milk? How much more can this nation take? And I'm saying each day, it becomes worse. It's pressure. As Stalin says, it's pressure. It's pressure. You know the song from Stalin? Rio Claro feeling it, Conaripo feeling it, Pinal feeling it, Tobago. Everywhere you go, it is the same. And this is why also, against this background, I have made a successful call for a joint platform for the voice of labor, the voice of business, the voice of citizen activist groups, the voice of non-governmental organizations, the voice of political parties, to stand in defense of and in promotion of citizens' rights and good governance in our country. This will take place in the form of our rally called the Voice of the People Rally, to be held on Saturday, March 26th at Saith Park from 2 p.m. March 27th at Saith Park from 2 p.m. on Saturday, which is Saturday coming, the 27th. Some of the issues we want to discuss will be the runaway crime, the corruption, the squandermania, the job insecurity, unilateral dismantling of the public service, undermining democratic institutions, undermining business environment, threatening our environment generally, inadequate provision of water, basic infrastructure, roads, basic amenities. And we will deal with these issues and bring proposals as to how we see that we can deal with the problems that confront our country. And so we want all of you, we invite you to come out in your numbers, because that is a day when you can be part of history. Will you join us on Saturday the 27th at Saith Park? Will you join us, please, on that day? Because it will not just be the UNC on that platform. The trade unions, representatives, and the others I mentioned you will come together, because it's together we must work to move the PNM and bring back good governance. So be there, be part of one of the largest gatherings outside an election period. This will be a showcase of people power. This is where the people's revolution begins to take us forward. Tonight then, as I share with you those matters, I just want to deal with a letter that I received, open letter, from Mr. Michael Harris in today's Daily Express, and I'm sure the Express people would like to see their own paper, so we'll hold it up for them. They're doing a great job. Let's put it together for the media. They've been exposing corruption. They've been exposing corruption. And they're putting the issues on the front burner. So in today's Express, there is an open letter from a gentleman by the name of Mr. Michael Harris. Open letter, it's on page 13 of the, whose uncle? Somebody's uncle? Debbie's uncle? Well, she's not saying yes or no, so I don't know. Daily Express, page 13, open letter to Kamla from Michael Harris. Mr. Harris, I'm giving you an open response to your open letter. But in doing so, I'm also talking to you here in Konaripo, and all those other persons who are listening, wherever you are. I'm going to give you an open response because I want to thank you, first of all, for the issues that you have raised so eloquently in your open letter to me. And when I read that letter, it brought some tears to my eyes because, and if you all have not yet read it, please go home and read it in Express Today at page 13. Because what the letter did was to raise concerns on behalf of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And what he did in the letter was really, as a patriot, you could see that he was someone who cared about our country, who cared about our people, who cared about our children, who cared about our nation. A true patriot that I saw in the questions that he raised and the suggestions and thoughts that he shared in that open letter. And very eloquently so. So I had cause to reflect when I read that letter. I had cause to reflect on the situation in which I find myself at this juncture in the history of our nation and in the history of our party, in seeking to change the status quo, to free our nation from the blight of the words I used from Mr. Harris now, the blight of maximum leadership, of racial polarization, of corruption and bubble, of squandermania and malfeasance. And so I had cause, as I say, to reflect on where I am and where we are today in this kind of context in which our country finds itself. And let me say that even before I took the stage in this political drama that has put me in this leadership role, I contemplated the very issues Mr. Harris has raised, and others, of course. And I sought to change not only the politics of our party, but also the way our nation conducts its business. It was an uphill struggle, and the response from you, the response from the people of our land, sent a very clear signal that our citizens had made up their minds to help effect the change that is so necessary to make the transition to good governance. You would have heard me when I pledged in my campaign for the leadership to do what you and so many of our citizens expect, and that is to establish a new social and political order so as to prevent the inevitable anarchy, the chaos, the threat to our democracy and freedom that is so apparent under the present Manning regime. My mission then, as it is today, is to build a better, fairer, more prosperous Trinidad and Tobago, where all of us can live in harmony, no matter what our religion is, no matter what our ethnicity is, no matter what our geographical background is, no matter what is our social standing, so that wherever we live in this blessed land of ours, whether here in Konaripo, whether in Pinal, in Tobago, whether in Sani Grande, whether in Toko, anywhere in this land, that we are one nation with one destiny. It doesn't matter where we live or who we are. I also pledged in my campaign, which I still pledge to do, to include you, the people, in our political revolution, because I honestly believe that a nation's strength lies not so much in those of us who lead, but our strength lies in citizens like you, whose voices we need to hear so that we can work on your behalf. And so, I know you recognize the great challenges we face because of the perilous position in which we find ourselves today. And so tonight, my friends, my family, fellow citizens, I want to assure you that while I am out of necessity dealing with the day-to-day activities, I am also careful to analyze our needs in Trinidad and Tobago, including those of political unity. And yes, Dennis, we are doing the studies you're speaking about. It will take us a little while because we want to do it well. But we are embarked upon that course of action so that we can analyze the needs and find and get to provide the solutions with input from the people of this land. And so Mr. Harris was right on target when he said that he saw my role as being bigger than just changing of the guard, because my vision is founded in hope. our citizens, our UNC members and non-members alike, you have rekindled the flame of hope for a better